Some people don't wake up feeling lost. They wake up feeling slightly misaligned. Not enough to stop functioning. Not enough to explain to anyone else. Just enough to notice, usually in the quiet moments, that something feels heavier than it needs to be. And often, they can't remember when it started. There's a story about someone like that. They were reliable, not loudly, structurally. The kind of person things rested on. People leaned without asking. Situations settled around them, and over time, this became normal. They didn't complain. They didn't resist. They adjusted. At first, the adjustments were small, barely noticeable, a slight tightening here, a subtle holding there. But because it worked, because things kept moving, there was no obvious reason to stop, so they kept going. They learned how to stay steady while carrying, how to keep their voice even, how to keep showing up without drawing attention to the effort underneath. If you'd asked them how they were doing, they would have answered honestly, fine, which was true. In the way structures don't complain about load, what they didn't notice at first was how rarely they checked whether the weight was still necessary. Because once something's been carried long enough, the body and the mind stop questioning it. It becomes posture, stance, identity. And there's a moment, it doesn't arrive suddenly, when holding feels safer than releasing, because releasing would require noticing, and noticing might suggest change, and change feels inefficient when everything is technically still working. So they stayed aligned outwardly, while slowly drifting inwardly, not broken, not burned out, just slightly off-center. There were moments late at night or early morning when they sensed it. The quiet fatigue that didn't match the day, a tension that didn't belong to the present moment, a sense that something is being managed rather than lived. They tell themselves what capable people often do. It's just how things are right now. Useful, until it becomes permanent. One day, not during a crisis, not during collapse, something small happened. They paused, not because they had to, but because there was no immediate demand. And in that pause, they noticed something unexpected. The effort they were making was continuing, even though nothing was asking for it. The shoulders hadn't lowered, the breath hadn't fully returned, and attention was still braced, waiting. And a different question appeared. Not what's wrong, but what am I still holding? It wasn't judgment, just curiosity. And staying at that question gently, you realized something important. Much of what they were carrying had once been useful. It was no longer being reevaluated, responsibilities already resolved, expectations no one was enforcing, roles that had quietly expired. They hadn't chosen to keep carrying them. They'd simply never put them down. And there's something the nervous system understands before the mind does. Holding is an action, and actions can stop. Not through effort, through allowance. So they didn't decide to release anything. They just stopped reinforcing it. They allowed their breath to move without guiding it. They allowed their posture to soften without correcting it. They allowed the present moment to be exactly as demanding as it actually was. Not more. And something subtle shifted. Not relief, not excitement. Alignment, quiet, structural, stable. The kind that changes how weight distributes without needing attention. They noticed they didn't need to brace as much. Didn't need to prepare ahead of time. Didn't need to hold their place so tightly. Things still mattered. They still showed up. But without the extra layer of unnecessary tension. What surprised them most was how little explanation required. Nothing needed fixing, nothing needed forcing. It hadn't been failing. It had been over-maintaining. And once that was recognized, the system recalibrated on its own. You might notice, now or later, that your body already knows what effort is essential and what effort is habitual. You don't need to work it out tonight. We don't need to label anything. Noticing is enough. When if something eases even slightly, allow it. If nothing changes yet, that's fine too. Alignment doesn't rush. It happens when holding is no longer required. And whatever settles from here, and do so quietly, in its own time, without supervision. Nothing else is needed.